You're listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. I'm Elena Paweta, Executive Communication Coach and TEDx organizer. With each episode, I'll share with you communication tips and ideas from top business leaders to help you excel in your career. So today I'm speaking with Erik Eklund, the founder of Connecting Humans brand. We met in Barcelona a couple of years ago, where he lives, and I remember that Erik passionately described me his project Connecting Humans, and I just thought that it is brilliant, and we have a lot to learn from him. So, hi Erik, I'm very happy to have you here with us.
Good morning, good morning. Super happy to be here as well. And yeah, it was 2 years ago now, right?
Yes. I remember how we met after I ran a marathon in Barcelona. I was super tired, but you had so much energy and passion about your project that I just forgot about everything. So in your project, Connecting Humans, you want to empower people to build genuine relationships. Can you tell us a bit more about your project? About your why did you start your project, and what is your main goal?
My absolute main goal is to encourage people to do what they believe in, and rather than being told so often in my life and where I'm coming from, that I discovered that the rarest thing I have felt in my life, a feeling that has really driven me in what I've been doing since I was little, is that feeling of being encouraged to do what it is I would like to do. And it was painful, and I was desiring it a lot. And I realized this is why I have been pushing and always finding ways and creating connections, flying around the world, trying to find my places, so to say. And that's when I discovered that my purpose that I am striving for at all times is to encourage others to do what they believe in. Connecting humans for me is the way of doing so. As in, there is nothing more powerful than the human connection, and that when we come together as such, we can both feel, we can be, and we can achieve the most amazing things. And yet I'm looking around and we're not connecting. We're trying to be inspiring, trying to be influencers, we're trying to be leaders and managers, but we're forgetting about the connection and kind of jumping straight to what we want others to do. And we can't influence someone or empower someone without connection first.
Wow. So how do you think we can make this human connection stronger?
In terms, I would say it's rather simple. It's in this way of opening up, letting other people see who you are, who I am, letting them feel you, letting them understand you. Often the topic I'm talking about, especially for leaders, is this thing of, okay, what do you believe in? And stand up for that. Share it, talk about it, and like have the courage to lead with what it is that you believe in, not the society, not others. And the common fallacy here is that people go, okay, we need to look at what people want, what people need. It's like, yeah, that's a great way, especially for marketing, right? But as a leader, if we're talking about authenticity, for instance, if you're looking outwards for what people want and then you decide to make that your cause, then that's not being authentic. That's not you standing up for what you believe in. You're trying to do something that they believe in to serve them, maybe, or to do something. You have a goal in mind. So that's what I'm referring to as the human connection begins with that you connect with yourself. What is it you stand for? And finding an authentic, genuine way of expressing that from a point of care and share.
Wow, great. You know, we feel that in business, in professional life, we think very often that we have to be professional, that we cannot show our feelings, we cannot open up to people. We
Yes.
are hiding behind this corporate masks very often. And actually, when looking, for example, at your LinkedIn profile, I can see a lot of stories, I can see a lot of personal touch. And why do you think it is important in professional life to open up? And do you think we can do this and still be professional?
The first answer is yes. The second is, I believe that, you know, pre-COVID-19, we were even feeling this thing of something is going a little wrong here. And then COVID-19 came and we started to understand a little bit more of what it is that's actually happening. And in the professional world, I don't see it as, there's nothing less professional with referring to topics such as trust, for instance. I don't believe there's every business relationship, if you want to call it, if we don't base it on trust, where do we want to go? Another thing is inspiration, a hot topic and big topic in leadership. For leaders to managers to people to be able to do businesses and organizations to be able to inspire their audiences, their clients, their stakeholders, right? There's nothing less professional about inspiration. So if we're just talking about trust, if we're talking about inspiration, and then maybe we're talking about engagement as well, for people to feel included and take own initiative, is there anything less or more professional or personal with this than any other topic?
Yes, absolutely. But you know, it is hard to show our imperfections, maybe some personal stories to the public, to our teams, especially when you are a manager and you need to, I don't know, confess something about, tell something about yourself.
So the point here is it hard? I mean, yes, we are living in a society, and we're also coming from, we are really, you and I, for instance, we are very good examples of this. We are part of a how to say, the gap generation, because our mother and fathers were really growing up by their mothers and fathers in this industrialization type of society after the wars and the cultures where everything was really based on, okay, let's get a good paid job, let's get a good job title, because that means it's a good paid job, and that means success, and success in that point means you can be able to provide for your family, you can build, like, we don't need, like my mom said this, Erik, like, why do you need to be happy? And if you're looking in history, and I also have this book like the Sapiens here, if you look into history, happy isn't what was needed, that was not the foundation at that point. And you and I, we're in that gap generation where we have come out of that and said, but yeah, there's other ways of going forward here. There's other ways of leading businesses and being leaders, because we can go back more into the basics of humanity. So we have to deal now. That's why it's possibly hard for many. We have now to deal, we have to balance this thing of, all right, how can we now talk to someone who is used to that a job title, a salary, a number of years means, ooh, I'm safe, I'm a manager, I'm a leader, versus in our now generation and the generation after us that you and I are leading, they are not at all. They are not at all in that type of mindset where, ooh, a job title means that I can become or that I am. No, you probably know already, right? If you're talking to someone who's 19 or 20 years old today, what are they looking for? What is it that they believe in, right? That's possibly what makes it hard now.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it is. And in order to be more open and to show ourselves openly to others, we also need to understand ourselves better.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also a tricky part, because not all of us, we can see each other with other people's eyes, and to understand each other, to understand ourselves, actually. I remember that when we met in Łódź in Poland at the conference where you were speaking, you gave me an exercise which was really great, and I just loved it. Can you tell a bit more about this exercise? What can we do to understand ourselves a bit more and to learn about ourselves?
Okay. To understand ourselves, it is time to listen to the voices within a lot. However, to get there, an efficient way is to start by being curious and with amusement asking others what they perceive, what is the reflection that they have of us. So I gave you the exercise of, okay, take 20 people, ask 20 people around you, not per se your husband or your closest family or anything like this, but maybe people that you work with, friends, people you have met, and ask them to be kind, to just share, you know what, I'm trying to understand myself here and see where and my strengths lay, points that I haven't seen myself. What would you tell someone else about me? What are you telling someone else when you're talking and my name comes up? What are you saying at that point? That's one question to ask, and then just leave it to them. And now, for everybody who would love to do that exercise, to say 20 people, okay, what is it you're saying about me when I'm not there and you're talking about me to someone else? What is it you're saying? Obviously, most people now is going to be like on a little bit of a defense, saying, like, what good things am I saying about Elena or about Erik? And then like, no. It's not about the good things here. It's about the truth. Invite them to really say the whole truth. And that's why I also asked you to say, okay, what is it that they feel a bit frustrated? What annoys them about you? When do you become annoying for them? Can you share that? And I also asked a third question, as in, of all people on this planet, why are they going to you at some point first and not others? So in what moments is it that they decide to go to you first to have a chat, a coffee, they call you out to just have a phone call, or they say, hey, can I come by? Or they invite you over for dinner, friends, family, or colleagues come into the office and say, knock, do you have a moment? When is that moment? Why do they come for you then? And in those two moments, listen very carefully, because this is when they can show the truth of when they come to you first and not others. And there's gold in those moments, in those answers.
Yes, this exercise is really great, and I really recommend it to all of our listeners. So the questions we can ask people from our network is, what do you say about me when you are not, when I'm not around, when I'm not in the room? Then what annoys you about me? And why would you go to me for what, in which situation? And it is really great. And I must say that when I did this exercise, I was a little bit hesitating in the beginning. So I will reach out to other people. But when I did it, it was really impactful. And I must say that I had a breakthrough that on one hand, people perceive me actually as an expert, as a professional. But on the other hand, in the second part, which is this ugly truth, which I was scared of, but it gave me a lot of food for thought, because some people said that, and there were a few of them from my network, from many different areas of my professional life. They said that sometimes I'm unapproachable, that I'm too professional to serious. And this is actually what we are speaking about. Yes, that people are seeking for more openness. People are seeking for more personal touch, for personal stories. They are not only looking for this perfect image on LinkedIn, this professional picture and everything. They're also looking for something more. So
Yes,
it is
100%.
really great exercise, and I think that's very nice to do for everyone. So Erik, what do you think now in our online reality? We are in 2020 right now, and the situation is as it is. And I'm sure that about this year, a lot of all the next generation will read in books. And as our reality drastically changed and we moved into this online world, do you think that we still need to connect with humans on the same level as before, or maybe Zoom and Teams will connect us between each other and we don't have to do anything, or we need to connect on the human level even more?
Well, we are 5 months into this new way of living since the COVID-19 really started to kick off in Europe. And I don't even have to say I believe anymore, because there are facts. There's data now on that. There are people, there is more divorces than ever, people feeling more depressed than ever. Frustration, anxiety levels are on a spike. The need and the desire for that human connection to create emotional in relationships in still a virtual world, it is in greater need now than it was before. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, right now we have suddenly been crystallizing for many people that, it's nice to talk like this, and it's nice, but I'm craving the human connection. I'm craving to go for a walk with my neighbors, or touch my partner, or just feel that I'm being, I am missing that energy exchange right there. But also on video, Zoom calls, meetings. How many times haven't you seen those meetings where everybody has a camera off, there's someone speaking, often with just the PowerPoint layout for you, and they maybe have their own camera on in a small corner there, right? Yeah. What do you think most people are doing during this meeting, really? How are they really feeling? How are they taking in everything that's happening in that meeting? The need for the human connection is greater now than ever before.
Yes, absolutely. And what would you recommend? What can we do to connect even more in the online world?
I would say first, let's think of that. I'm referring to the human connection very much as out of two things. A, building trusting relationships, trust from within, trust to the external outside. Two, inspiration, living and being an inspiration, inspiring others. To do that, we have to consider that it doesn't happen in this one moment, meeting room, meeting, Zoom call, Teams right now. It often happens in between the meetings. It happens in the hallways, normally when we were doing this, over the coffee breaks, when you're meeting over for dinner and things like that. That's when it happens. That's when trust, that's when true, say, influence happens. Therefore, as a practical tip, when you're having these Zoom meetings, that's great. Put on the camera, talk to each other, and start or end or have a moment when we do not speak about the meeting topic. I like to do as I did with you today. I don't say how are you, and people go, oh, good. I say, how are you feeling today? And then every time when people responding to me, they say great. I say, that's not a feeling, that's a verb. So okay, what is great? What makes great for you? And then we have that little conversation. You go, and often I hear people say, Oh, like I think you said today you're excited, right?
Yeah, yeah, I said I'm excited
Yeah.
about my upcoming trip to Spain.
And then
Exactly.
it's like,
Oh,
oh
yes.
yeah, you're going to Spain, and we had a little conversations, like yeah, and immediately that a little connection begins. It's like, okay, she's going to Spain,
Yeah.
she's excited about it, but you had a lot of projects to do by the end of the day, and I get an understanding for the situation in this very moment you're in. And in just a couple of minutes, I have a way better understanding and connection. We're creating that connection between each other. If compared to if you would have done this. Hey, Elena, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
And we
Okay,
moved
so
to business.
today's meeting will be about, and you just sitting there being okay, okay. If that's effective, that's very effective in terms of time, but I can go back again to psychology. It is absolutely not effective in regards to building trust, in building relationships, building connection.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for this tip. Yes, we need to use it more to speak about emotions. Erik, you speak a lot about personal branding, about using our personal brand, building our personal brand to connect with other human beings more. So how we can do this, and what advice would you give to people who are starting to build their personal brand online, for example, on LinkedIn, or in the process of making their personal brand stronger, especially in this online environment?
Yeah.
It is very important. What tips would you give?
Story. That would be the most out of the blue like this. Especially talking the online world, we're living in the online world, and everyone is now thinking like, "Ooh, I need to go online," right? And caring, to be caring, and to share stories in terms of personal branding really creates a greater connection with yourself and others. And with that, I would love to say this. Yes, let's use LinkedIn as an example. Perceived as a professional platform where you're supposed to be job title, where you're supposed to say all this good stuff about yourself, what you have achieved, and etc., etc. And that's great. I mean, I'm not going to denote anything from you that you have achieved all this stuff. But with you, Elena, right now, if you are seeing a person on LinkedIn, on any social media, say you're meeting him in person as well, and that person constantly like, yeah, I am the global award-winning speaker for Maxwell's Institute. I have 15 awards and I can help you become the best speaker ever. It sounds impressive, right?
Yes, it is impressive. And this is what we use in our profiles. Yes, a book author, winning speaker, and so on and so on. So we list our achievements very often.
But what did I leave out? I'm putting you on the spot now. I know.
Yes, but this is actually the case that on LinkedIn, I don't see the person. I don't see the who is it. And very often I see only the awards or titles, jobs. So I
And
don't
that
think
you,
that this is building. This helps in building relationships, right?
because I left out the key question, and as you said there, but yeah, but who are you? That's kind of the
Yeah.
question that we were like, who are you? The who are you question is actually another question. It is, why are you doing that? Or why should I listen to you? That's really what that who are you refers to. So if I would have said this, for instance, so I remember I was referring to this global award-winning speaker from Maxwell's Institute. So I was putting my credibility and my worth in that name of Maxwell's Institute, which is maybe a grand name. I was trying to make sure that I was impressive and great by saying that I have 15 awards, but you have no idea why I won those awards. And you have no idea maybe about Maxwell's Institute or why you work for Maxwell's Institute. So if I change it to this, I believe in ending racism and building inclusive organizations and a just society. I would love leaders and people in leadership positions to be able to inspire their teams to to be more inclusive, that embrace diversity. So therefore, I give speeches. I give speeches on how what it is like to deal with different cultural differences in teams, for instance. I give practical tips on how to deal with that from a leadership point of view. And yes, I happen to work for Maxwell's Institute. And I also won some award for that. Which version sounds better for you?
The second one, for sure. You connected with me on the personal level. I can see that. Who are you and why are you doing this? Yes, this is great.
And the only thing it was needed, it was maybe a couple of seconds extra. Yes, it was a couple of seconds extra. But I started in a different version. I started with, why am I doing this? Like, who am I? What do I believe in? Like we started this conversation today. What is my belief? What is the cause here? This thing of ending racism, building inclusive organizations. And then I ended by saying, well, I happen to work for Maxwell's Institute as well. It's like, ooh, you do that as well. So you asked, what is the tip for building a personal brand? It is really to look back into what is your cause, and one question that I can ask anybody to take away from this podcast is this: why should somebody trust you? Answer that question for yourself. Write it down, list it. And if on that list you write things such as, I am caring, I'm respectful, I'm trustworthy, and then I would say, no, strike all that, because that is just words again. That's just a word with very little meaning. Why should someone really trust you? Because I always dedicate time for when people come into my office and when I hear my opinion of things, I will always share that with them. I will take a moment and I will share that with them. And this feedback you can easily get by asking people around you again. Go back to that third question. Why do people come to you first? Listen carefully to that question, because that is actually a tip and an answer to why people trust you with certain topics than others.
Yes, great. So what we usually want in the professional world when we're building our brand, we want to be recognized as thought leaders, as experts in our field. And so what can we do to position ourselves? So we describe why we're doing what we are doing, how we can help, and what else can we do to position ourselves as an expert, as a leader in the field?
Constantly grow yourself. The more we focus on ourselves, and I love this, is I believe very much why I've connected with you a lot, because you have shown constant curiosity to yourself. You have reached out to me for advice, for tips, for feedback, and now you have come back and said, hey, would you like to be a guest and share that with the world? This is what makes me say, I trust you. This is where you, in my world, becoming a thought leader in communication, in the message of communicating in business and leadership that I'm standing for as well. This is how you are becoming a thought leader of it. What did you do? You showed curiosity about yourself. You cared about me. You showed interest in me, and you're giving back. You are helping me further my cause and my message to the world as well. That would be the tip for anybody out there that is thinking about, I would love to be a thought leader. And I would just, a small amendment there is to say, remove your goal to become a thought leader. Stand up for what it is you believe in, act on it, show curiosity in yourself, give back to the communities around you, and you will become a thought leader.
Great, amazing. So to sum up our discussion about connecting humans, what are the main tips if we were to summarize our discussion? What do you recommend to people who are listening to us to do or not to do, maybe? The main key takeaways.
Okay. Maybe one of the key takeaways would be this. I often speak to a brilliant human beings, and they speak in terms of terms. They speak in terms of, okay, I need to face my fears. I need to stand up for myself. I need to lead with a purpose. Yes, that is nice. That's great. Like I often refer to them as they are great job titles. But as a tip, try to move from job titles to descriptions. Talk, what is it that you believe in? So when you're saying this, say what it actually is. What does that actually mean to you? And when you're speaking from a place of reason and meaning to you, for you, you will also be able to connect with others, because we are human beings. We do not connect in terms of grandiose headlines and so forth. We connect when there's substance to the headlines. That same thing is in the data, figures and numbers, 15 years, yes, but give me substance to the 15 years. Give me purpose and reasoning of the 15 years. So that's one tip, and I often hear that. And then comes to the second tip. Emotions are your best friends. Connection is an energy. Life is an energy. Your thoughts and everything around you is an energy. And what I'm referring often to is care for your state of mind. Take care of that state of mind. And by doing that, is very much to allow yourself to feel and to express emotions and be navigating your own emotions in a conscious way. That way you will be able to feel much better about yourself. Your state of mind will be healthy, it will be balanced, and you will be able to connect with other human beings, and you can be inspiring, and you can be a thought leader, and most importantly, I believe, you will grow.
Great, thank you very much for those tips. So, Erik, do you have any upcoming projects, interesting projects that you would like to share?
Yes, I am proud about a late, it's a COVID-19 baby.
Very good. Yes,
And,
I know that a lot of new projects started during COVID-19. We
yeah,
were super creative suddenly.
we had to, I mean, hard times define some, and hard times, yeah, don't define some, right? But in this case, the project is called Understanding Humans. And it's really it's a step backwards from Connecting Humans, as in I'm adopted from Colombia to Sweden. And adoption has very much been a big part of my life. And when I'm saying like, hey, I'm from Sweden, people go, you don't look Swedish. I say, oh, I'm actually born in Colombia, but adopted to Sweden. And they go, aren't you too dark for being Colombian? And this keeps on going. And the purpose of Understanding Humans is to share these very untold true stories of adoptees and adoptive parents, to encourage that greater understanding for one another on a very human level, where we share their unique perspective of growing up and being themselves and finding themselves, experience these challenges that I believe most people on this planet experience. Who am I? Feeling worthy and good enough, and finding love in who they are, what they do, and with the people around them. You and I, we may be looking different, we might be acting different, we might be believing in different things. We can still be family, we can still love one another, and we're still worthy. And through these stories, I want to share that inspiration to the world to come together as human beings through a greater understanding of one another.
Wow, great. So Understanding Humans, right? Very interesting. It's a great project. So where can we find you? On which social media? Where can we hear about your project? How can we connect with you?
Well, I'm right now creating a new website, so storiesoferic.com. That will be the landing page for all and everything as of now forward. So when you're listening to this, I believe that one will be up and running for sure. And then, of course, you can come back on Stories of Erik on LinkedIn or on Instagram as well. So these are my 2 social media channels together with my website.
Great. So let's all visit storiesoferic.com and connect with Erik on LinkedIn and Instagram to get even more insights on connecting humans and new project Understanding Humans. Thank you very much, Erik, for being with us today and for sharing your great ideas on how to connect and how to improve relationships with other humans. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Ideas and Leaders podcast. Did you enjoy this episode? Let me know that you listened by tagging me in your LinkedIn profile and using a hashtag Ideas and Leaders. See you in the next episode.